stating that the recent spurt in the number of domestic T20 leagues is at times impacting the international bilateral cricket schedule. ICC Chief Executive David Richardson on Thursday said clever planning, better scheduling and a regulatory framework is necessary to ensure these tournaments can continue without adversely affecting international cricket. Hailing the emergence of domestic T20 leagues as a tremendous boost for the game's popularity across age and gender, Richardson said regulations like creating specific windows to suit those leagues in the cricketing calendar and restrictions on players playing in more than a certain number of leagues need to be looked into from a particular and legal perspective.
One of the biggest challenges facing the game is caused by the proliferation of domestic T20 leagues. And whilst this has been tremendous in helping us grow and attract new fans to the game, in particular younger fans and in particular female fans, there are occasions where domestic leagues, because they are multiplying and they're being played all over the world, they are competing for time in the schedule with international bilateral cricket. And not only are we seeing these leagues coming up in full member countries, but we have private entrepreneurs arranging these leagues in a number of associate member countries. So we need to look at our regulations as to how they control, how they deal with the approval of those types of competitions to make sure that we can allow them to happen, encourage cricket to be played, but only in a way that doesn't prejudice international cricket, and in particular doesn't prejudice the goal of having the best players playing international cricket. And that's not an easy issue. You'll know that there's only 365 days in the year. 8 of our full member teams play cricket in a season which goes from October to March. So it's not easy to schedule everything into those time periods. So there are considerations like the creation of windows, the regulation of how players get released, NOCs, all those things, whether there's going to be any restriction on players playing in more than a certain number of leagues. All those kind of considerations need to be given proper thought from a practical and legal point of view. And we've appointed a group of members of the Chief Executives Committee plus representatives from the Players Association, FICA, to work with lawyers who specialize in that field to come up with a framework that can hopefully help us solve that problem. And as I say, I think it will be a combination of clever planning, clever scheduling, a better scheduling, and some sort of regulatory framework that helps us put in place an environment where we're not only talking about restriction on players, but also on making sure that any leagues that do take place, the players that do play in them are properly protected, that there are minimum standards as far as anti-corruption, anti-doping, payment of player contracts, all those kind of things, and potentially the payment of sanction fees to the game to ensure that private promoters are not just taking money and profits from these events and running away with it, that they are putting enough back into the development and growth of the game.
IANS report.